We'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions for coach and players.
We're obviously really excited to be here. There's 4 really great teams in this region, and I think it's gonna be just a super competitive weekend for volleyball, and exciting that it's in Lincoln and our fans can see it. And I'm crossing my fingers for a great turnout for the first match, and then that carries on into the second match.
Is there anything from the spring match that carries into this game, just in terms of performance?
No, I mean, they didn't have half their team, and I think both teams are much different, so I don't think there's really much to learn from that game. They might learn a little bit because they played here and it was sold out, so they have a little experience, but other than that.
What do you think about this? Don, since, you had half his team here to get to this point again, too, what kind of coaching job do you think Matt has done to do that?
Yeah, Matt always has great teams and they compete hard. They find ways to win. It might not be the same every single match, and so he's, found ways to make this team great, and I just have a lot of respect for him as a coach. And I thought this Kansas team's gotten better throughout the year, and they adjust really quick. So if they're down in a game or they're coming off a loss, they typically play much better and improve at a fast rate.
Multiple times Matt talked about how what makes you guys so challenging to play, not only the talent, but it's really hard to make you guys uncomfortable. Where does that confidence kind of come from?
I'll let you guys answer that.
I think just how hard we train throughout the week. We are playing a lot, and we've said it before, we go super, super hard in practice, and so we really build up that resistance throughout the week, and that way we can play super free when game time comes.
Yeah, I think we just trust our training because we do it every day, so we know what it takes, and like Andi said, we see it every day. So I think sometimes, in a way, like we forget how good we are sometimes because we're seeing it so often. So just trusting our training and each other, and we've earned the right to be confident.
How do you manage going that hard for such a long season and still be fresh and be able to perform at your peak when you need to?
It's like our coaches. I know Dani does a really good job. We go super hard throughout the week, but we do games to warm up, and we still have a lot of fun in our practice. So even though the level is so high, we're still managing to find ways to have fun and break off onto our own courts and do positional training with your group and just continue to build relationships with the team and with your group specifically. And so I think that really helps keep the confidence high and just keep everyone fresh, and you're always excited to go back in the next day. You're never dreading going to practice because you went so hard the first day. You're like excited to go have fun, and you're excited to play and go live and do all the things.
What was the most fun thing you did in practice this week?
Play sixes. That's my favorite drill, so play sixes, yeah.
Harper, can you speak on the excitement of you and the team just being back in the Sweet 16, what that means to, again, be in your home stadium?
Yeah, I say it every time, but we're lucky that we've been able to host the past few years because I don't think people understand how much of an advantage it is, especially in a gym like ours. So I know we're grateful that we get to be here, and every week it gets harder and harder, and we understand that it's getting closer to the national championship, and it's going to get harder every week. So I said this last week, but just really being grateful of where we are and being focused each day on what we're working on and what we need to get better at, because if you look too far into the future, you're probably going to get a little nervous and get a little stressed out. So just really focusing on what we're doing in the moment and focusing on where our feet are.
Andi, you talked about playing free is a big thing. This team, you practice hard. That's kind of the reason you're able to do it. But you personally, how much has that been a priority for you and your game this season?
It's been huge for myself personally, and I think the whole team feeling like we can play free really helps me because the whole vibe on the court, regardless of who's in, you can just feel that there's so much confidence. And obviously, like if the team is feeling pressure, then you're going to start to feel pressure for yourself personally. So it really helps that everyone on the court feels free, and then I also feel like I can just play free and play like Andi. That's what Bree and I work on. So yeah, it's they don't know what Bree is. Our sports psych, sorry, but that's the answer.
Dani,
With your offense being so good, what's one or two examples of your internal stats that Nate Wilson does that explain why this offense is so strong, like certain rotations or out of system or something?
I don't know if there's a certain stat. It's more when you see the amount of attempts and how like even it is, and then the stats of the people that aren't starters that come off the bench and their stats, how high they are. And a lot of times when you have people come in matches in tough times, or even if we're ahead, you know, they might make a couple errors because they're nervous, but those guys have crushed it every time they've come in. So I would say that is probably most important. But I just think the overall amount of attempts and the attempts our middles have, I think is, you know, something that we wanted to do in the spring and carry over to the fall, and we've really executed that.
Dani, I don't know if you felt pressure last year because the Final Four is in Louisville to make it through this weekend too. Is the pressure of being the number one overall seed, how does that compare to what you kind of went through last year?
Last year was a lot of pressure when you're hosting, and that was even a whole different level because it was the first time that Louisville had ever had an opportunity to really be there when they were hosting. So that felt like a lot of pressure, but that was also exciting because it was going to be one of the first. I think right now, I think there's tons of pressure as I don't think it's the number one seed. I think it's the fact of our book of work this season makes the pressure even more, but I do think this team has a lot of experience with it. The staff has had a lot of experience with it, so it's nothing new, which I think helps to alleviate some of that. And when we're talking in our day-to-day and communicating on the court, it doesn't feel like anything different or like there's more pressure right now.
And you were obviously, I mean, it's a painful moment when you're on the runner-up side a year ago, but when you were far removed and now that you're in the same conference, did you develop an appreciation of what Katie had done for women's coaches last year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, being in the Final Four even a couple times before that and in the national championship game, it's like honestly, like we needed to get the monkey off the back of women not winning because it kind of got annoying, like being asked that. What would it mean to you? Of course it would be amazing, but it's like, why are we in this position? That's the main question. So to have that finally done and over with, you know, I think it was a joyous time for all female coaches, and even being on the losing side of that, it's like I'm happy that a woman won, and going into that match was like, finally it's going to happen. And so we didn't really think about it during the match because we knew it was going to happen.
What was it like playing against a team with a 6'7" opposite hitter?
It's gonna be a little hard. I mean, I think it makes it tough on the outsides. We're really gonna have to focus on swinging high, and I mean, it's never ideal. You don't want to play against someone who's that tall and big, but I mean, it'll definitely give us a good chance to get better and find different ways to score because you don't see that every day. So, I mean, we've seen a lot about her. I know she wasn't there in spring, so I'm excited to see what she can do tomorrow. But yeah, I think it'll just be good for us to see that and like see something different. Like we played against Kennedy before, but everyone's different. So
Andi, there are a lot of really talented middles in this regional. Just how exciting is that to know that there are really good middles, but there are also really good middles that are not being overlooked.
It's super exciting. I mean, I love to see the love that middles are receiving. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really followed along with it. I've been staying off the social media, so I don't know who you're referring to exactly, but I mean, that's very exciting to hear. So, and like for Becca and I personally, like Dani said, we've been working on getting set a lot, and same for Manaya and Kenna in practice, like we're really pushing our middles, and so to hear that other people are having that success as well is exciting. I mean, STM. Is that the middle?
no.
Harper, the KU coach maybe a little bit jokingly said that the Big Ten didn't really pressure you guys a lot, just maybe down or whatever. How much do you as a team embrace teams wanting to throw everything at you guys?
Yeah, I think we had a lot of success in the Big Ten the past few years. And I know it's looked a lot different this year, but I don't think that's any discredit to how much we've worked and how hard we've worked. So, I mean, I think we've seen a lot of things about people like saying we weren't pushed enough, but I think we push ourselves in practice and we're ready for that if that were to come in. So we're excited for tomorrow, and we know Kansas has been successful this year. So I think that's something to look forward to.
For either player, it's been said that sometimes the regional semi and the regional final can be even tougher to get to the Final Four than even the Final Four itself. From your past experience, how would you react to that? And is an undefeated record almost an albatross over your head?
Is that for both of
Yeah,
us?
for both of us.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, it gets harder every week. So, I mean, you can't control the bracket, and we know that. So, just every day working on who we're gonna play and scheming against those teams because you don't know who you're gonna play next sometimes. So, you can't control anything, but you can control what you want to control and nothing else. So.
And what about the overall undefeated record?
I mean, that's awesome. I think we've earned it, and we're obviously undefeated for a reason. We've put the work in, but I think as a team, we don't want to focus on that because there's a lot more to it than that, and that doesn't have to define our team.
Dani, earlier today, A&M coach Jamie Morrison was talking about as he builds that program's volleyball culture and crowd environment, how he's modeled it a little bit after Nebraska. How is it encouraging is that to hear that other programs are really still looking to this place to build their own environment?
Super important. I mean, I was at a school last year that was doing the same thing, you know, like everybody's chasing Nebraska, and it's flattering, and I feel like it's a little bit of our duty to continue to do that. Like, so now what's next here? Because we want to keep raising the bar and pushing these programs even more, not just to have a great crowd. What does that crowd look like? How can you generate revenue? Everything. So we want to, again, keep raising the bar so there's more. And so programs across the country, coaches across the country aren't satisfied hitting this or this or this. They're pushing the sport further, and it's just going to be beneficial for everybody. And it's, you know, amazing to be in front of that and to continue to push things forward and give coaches ideas. And again, we want the sport to grow even more than it is here.
Andi, on that note, this weekend will be the final iteration inside of the Dani Center before they do construction. What's it going to mean just for this team and the whole program, the other coaches who've been there, the other players, to see this continue to grow like that?
It's super special. I mean, the Bob is such a special place, and I think every player who has ever played here can attest to that. The environment is so special, and everything that we have here and get to experience here is one of a kind. So there is no place like Nebraska, and it'll be really exciting to see what they do in the future. But while they're renovating it, we're really going to miss it.
Dani, has your message changed at all ahead of this weekend? I'm sure it's just keep doing what we've done great all season, but have you guys had those conversations like we are one step closer to the ultimate goal?
It hasn't really changed. It's been the same all year. We want to be where our feet are, enjoy the journey, not take anything for granted. You know, a lot of the pretty basic coach speak, but I think it's very important and relevant for this team.
Coach, obviously you're not looking ahead, but just have you been able to catch up with Coach Meskey? I know he mentioned in his press conference earlier, like pumpkin bars with the Busboom family. He has fond memories of being here.
No, my mom's probably gonna bring those tomorrow, so that's funny. Well, we did go out last night. I'm like, where do you guys want to go? And he chose Runza, so we had a nice chat at Runza on Westo. But yeah, it's great to see those guys again and spend 8 years with them. And I was cracking up when we closed it down, the Runza.
All good? Thank you guys.
Thank you.